I first read Game of Thrones about 5 years ago, and it was recommended by a friend. And I honestly was a little reserved at first because the book is relatively large, and the first chapter really wasn't what I was expecting. But after I got past the first couple chapters, it really picked up, and I realized that it was going to be the type of book that I'd enjoy. And as it turned out, it's definitely one of my favorites. In his novel, A Game of Thrones, George R. R. Martin has made a fantastic world filled with really interesting characters and with a phenomenal story. Some of you have probably seen the HBO special by the same name, and if you've enjoyed that or if it's even piqued your interest, you should definitely check out the book. The characters are much better. Everything's much better developed. The average episode is about an hour long, and a season lasts 10 episodes, so you get 10 hours, and it definitely doesn't do the book justice. The three things that, in my opinion, have made the book one of my favorites and a chart topper have been the story, George's writing, and the characters. From Dragon's Ascendant, George R. R. Martin, and the Rise of Fantasy, David Orr said, Martin's second virtue is a nearly supernatural gift for storytelling. All of his hundreds of characters have grace notes of history and personality that advance a plotline. That's really well said, because the story is phenomenal. It's epic, and you've got elements of intrigue, war, a dark magic, forgotten gods. Definitely phenomenal story. Danielle Mendelsohn from The Women and the Thrones said, I suspect that one reason Game of Thrones has seduced so many of my writer friends, people who either have no taste for fantasy or no interest in television, is precisely that its willingness to mete out harsh consequences rather than dreaming up ways to keep its main characters alive. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the story that's reflected in that quote is that there's very little deus ex machina. Characters have very realistic consequences. The things that people do sometimes have overly harsh consequences. There's no feeling that people are protected by the author. Glenn Contrain, from the article Book Review, A Game of Thrones, said, Martin's skills shine greatest when his characters face decisions where none of their choices easily fit their personal moralities. Each chapter in the book is told from a different character's perspective, and he does a really good job of making each character unique. You'll read a chapter, and the writing style will change from person to person, and you're definitely going to find that you have favorites, and you're definitely going to find that you have some that you hate. Those three things definitely have made the book one of my favorites, and those were story, writing, and characters. And George Martin has made a phenomenal world, a great story, and it's filled with really excellent characters. So, if you think that there's any chance that you're going to like something involving intrigue, war, dragons, a little bit of magic, then you really shouldn't pass up reading A Game of Thrones. Thank you.